why system thinking? Have you ever thought about it? Well, I spent quite a lot of time to try to think why issues that I'm occurring at work are reoccurring all the time. For example, communication. It's happened again and again and again. And whatever I'm trying to do, always when you're doing a survey, the first thing that people will have is communication or reorgs. How many times you were part of a reorg? How many times you came to work and you heard about the reorg? Is that was the last reorganization? No, that was one in a very long chain. There's so many elements at work that are reoccurring. They're reoccurring not because they need to. They're reoccurring because we are using systems to analyze our current reality. And the system that we are using, majority of them today, are using reductionism in analysis. So we are taking a problem, we break it to small parts, and we're trying to resolve small parts by small part in order to fix the entire picture. Well, this is excellent way to resolve a problem in a machine. But when you're starting to leave machinery, when you're starting to do with system, it's a completely different ball game, because systems are working differently, and in system there is so much unexpected behavior and relationship between all the elements that compose a system. And when you're doing that, the reductionism, this way of thinking, this analysis, it doesn't help. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because you can see the results. Every time that you're trying to resolve an issue that is reoccurring with those tools, you're doomed to fail. You're doomed to fail because you are not looking at the system. You are approaching a system as a machine, and system does not behave as a machine. So if you fix one element, actually you are doing nothing. So system thinking is, I don't know who came with it, but definitely they or he is a genius. System thinking is actually a language. It's a language that helps you to understand system as they are as a whole. It's a language that helps you to depict visually how systems are working in variety of point of views, and those variety of point of views gives you very quick indication where are systematic problems. And systematic problems usually will be more how elements in the system react one with each other. Are there any blockage in the way that they're communicating with each other? Are there missing communication? Are there too many chatter of communication that cause the system to slow down? There are so many problems that you can see when you're looking at the system as a system. Now, what I learned over time is that when you're looking at a system as a whole, when you're using system thinking language and tool set in order to look at a problem, you find out much more easily the root cause of issues within systems, within the system, not within the component in the system. And when you manage to find the problem in the system, you already done, I don't know, 50–60% of the resolution. Because once you realize it, it's much more easier to try to introduce a solution. Not that it's easy, because you're dealing with the system, and one of the property of the system is you can do any change that you want. Usually it's extremely hard to predict how this change would actually impact the system. So there's a lot of try and error, try and error up until you fine-tune something that actually works for the system. But without understanding what is the inherent problem within the system, if you're just focusing in understanding what's wrong in one element in a system, you are not actually going to resolve any problem in the system. And that's the reason why you see again and again and again the same systematic problems that we see in organization reoccurring over time, almost for 100, but I can say for sure for the last 50, 20 years, there are really the same problems that happening again and again, without any resolution. It's not just applied, by the way, to system or organization. It's also applied to humanity as a whole, to society. So I don't know how many times people try to resolve homeless or help homelessness, but yet there's still plenty of homelessness on the street, which means that we are missing any systematic way. When I say systematic, I mean looking at it as a system, not continuously looking at the problem. There is a different way how to look at problems, and if you're using this way of looking at the system as a whole, sometimes, or most of the times, you find a solution which is more adequate. First of all, before you find the solution, you understand the problem, the real problem of the system, and not the problem in one element in the system that really doesn't matter. Because if you don't understand the entire material, how everything is tied together, you didn't understand nothing, and you're not going to resolve an issue. Anyway, just trying to rumble for I don't know how many minutes about the needs of system thinking, and there's a really need for that. And if you start to learn this language and you start to use the tools that are coming with the language, you find out that it's much more beneficial for you to resolve reoccurring or very complex issues that are happening in your organization or all around you today, and the classical analytics tool that you're using are simply not adequate to deal with the problem that you're trying to resolve. That's all for this. That's all. Oh my goodness, my English. Okay, sorry for that, but that's all for today. Bye.